So spaceback system, 9-inch round plenum. I just want to go over some of the rules with the plenum. We have basically 4 different kinds of layouts. The first one would be a shotgun. That'd be anything without a T. So all we really have to worry about is off the front of the unit, we got to go 18 inches of straight pipe before any 2-inch takeoff. And then we have to worry about 6 inches between each takeoff for supply, all right? So you got to have 6 inches on center between each takeoff. And then towards the end cap, we want to make sure we don't have an outlet any closer than 18 inches to that end cap. And the reason for that is we pressurize that air, it hits the end cap, and it pressurizes back. So if we had an outlet down near the end, let's say right at the end cap, that would cause noise. So we want to be at least 18 inches back, everything, so the turbulence evens out, and we don't have any noise issues there. The other type of layout we have is what's called the horseshoe or bullhead T. That's your 60-40 rule. We're going to come off the unit 18 inches minimum, hit a T, left and right. We can do 60% of our outlets on one side and 40 on the other. 50 is always better. So you go 50%, it's even better, but a maximum of 60-40. The other type of layout we have is what we call the side branch. Okay, so we come off the unit 18 inches. We hit a T, but not a bullhead T. This T is either going to go right or left. So we can have 30%, up to 30% of our outlets on that branch that's coming out, and then the straight piece would handle the 70% or more of the rest of the outlets there. And then lastly would be what we call the perimeter loop. All right, this is something that used to be done all the time. It's probably not as easy nowadays as houses have a lot of ins and outs and jogs in them. But if you can do it, you're going to come off the unit, hit a T, and you actually you attach that 9-inch round. So just picture a circle with a T, and you can have your outlets coming off anywhere you want, as long as you're following that 18-inch rule from a fitting, and you're 6 inches on center from each takeoff. Okay? Hi, I'm going to go over a couple of the rules on our main plenum designs. Okay, so we use 9-inch round. We can run it up to 250 feet. One thing we got to keep in mind is our 90s count as 15 feet, and our T counts as 30 feet. So we have to use that as we're adding up our plenum length. Too many 90s, too many T's will bring it over 250 pretty quick. So we want to keep that in mind. So some of the rules with this 9-inch round is when we come off the front of the unit, we have to go at least 18 inches of straight pipe before we hit a fitting. Okay? And then we want another 18 inches of straight pipe before we hit another fitting or have any of our 2-inch supplies come off of this main trunk. Okay? This particular design that you guys are seeing here is what we call our bullhead T or horseshoe layout, known as the 60-40 rule. And when I say 60-40, it's 60% of your outlets on one side of the T and 40% on the other side of the T. You could always go 50-50, it's better, but we cannot go more than 60% on one side of the T.
The reason for the 18-inch rule is because of this high pressure, high static system, we want to make sure the air has enough time to almost even out. Okay, so if we're coming off our blower, and if I had a T or a 90 right here, the air's tumbling out, so it would really affect the pressure that is going on downstream in the unit. The way this plenum operates is what we call static regain. So we actually hit that end cap and we pressurize that. It's almost like blowing up a balloon, okay? Even pressure throughout the whole entire plenum. So that is the reason. So if I had, again, a T right here, that air is hitting it, it almost thinks that's what it's pressurizing. So we want to give it enough room that air equals out and we can fulfill what we're trying to accomplish.
We're going to talk about supply tubing. We have 2 different kinds. We have R8 right here with a bigger jacket on it, and then we have our R6 tubing here. First, I'm going to show you how to cut this, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to talk about length of run. So on these supply tube runs, we want to be between 9 and 15 feet for a perfectly balanced system. So I'm just going to take my duck knife. A lot of guys use like a bread knife, something serrated to cut through this, and it goes through pretty easily. Okay. Cut through it like that. Also to mention, the R8 comes 75 feet to a box, R6 comes 100 feet to a box, right? And it really is going to depend on local codes. So a lot of codes are saying anything in an attic has to have R8, but anything in the space can get away with R6. So it's just something to keep in mind as you're putting these in. This tubing is made in our factory. It's a 3-ply aluminum. Okay, so we take a flat stock aluminum and it actually spins it into this 3-ply and it insulates it at the same time. So it's a pretty cool machine. Just to give you an idea of what it looks like, very flexible, forgiving, not easy to crush, so it's a real solid piece. Another thing that we've done, some of you that are listening in, that we've changed the Mylar jacket on this. And the reason for it is when you're snaking it through walls in an old construction house, sometimes you might grab a nail or something like that and it tears. So this stuff is really, really rigid and it can withstand a lot. So it's not going to tear as easy as it used to. So what I'm going to show you now is how we install our patented Quick Connect. So what you want to start with after you cut this is you kind of want to push it down, all right? You want to kind of tighten this stuff up. I'll grab this Quick Connect, and what we do is we spin it in, all right? And you're going to spin it in. You're going to actually feel it get tight, okay, like that. And you cannot pull it out. Some people that question this, that it can get pulled out, feel free to add a tech screw to it. It's not a problem. But if installed right, it does not pull out. What we want to do now is, I'm going to show you on this one. You'll see there's kind of an area right here on that Quick Connect. We want to stuff the insulation into that, okay, like this. So we almost see it come out of where the other Quick Connect would like flip in, right? What I recommend from here is we put a piece of tape on this, okay? So just rip your piece of tape off. I recommend metal tape, but whatever you guys use is fine, as long as it's not Scotch tape. So we're going to put the metal tape around here. We're going to kind of follow that edge, all right? And the reason for this will help so it doesn't pull out, also to keep the insulation nice and tight around this Quick Connect, okay? And just kind of squish it down so it's nice and tight. So from here, you can now attach to your sound attenuator tube. Again, Quick Connect fitting like that. I also recommend from this point of the connection, again, this is your last 3 feet of your supply tubing, is we put a piece of tape around this as well. Some of it's more so to seal it, also to make sure nothing gets pulled away. So just run a piece of tape around that. And we're complete on this side of the run. All right, we're going to move on to showing you how to attach it to the plenum. So we're going to go over how to install a plenum takeoff into our 9-inch round plenum. Tools you're going to need is some kind of knife, your plenum takeoff gasket, and the clips, space packs, reverse acting pliers to help with the clips. I'll show you in a minute. And then a drill. Most importantly, we need a 2 1/8 hole saw to drill through this plenum. Okay, so we're going to start by cutting an X. And this is if you have pre-insulated ductwork. If your ductwork's not, you don't have to worry about that, obviously. But with this, we're going to cut an X like that. Okay, kind of peel this back a bit. We have room to drill. Okay, drill through that. We're going to take our plenum takeoff here with the gasket. So this gasket has a sticky back to it. We're going to peel this away. We're going to stick it right over that hole, like so. And then I like to take this piece here, the plastic piece with a Quick Connect on it. I'll install 2 of these to start, 2 of the clips. And on these ones, they're made for round, so there is a little curvature to them. So you want to pay attention to that as you're putting them in. Okay. You're just going to push down, make sure it grabs onto the metal underneath. Okay. And I'm going to add the other 2 because you have to have 4 clips. If you only put 2, the takeoff itself could pull away from the plenum, causing air leakage. And being a high static unit, we do not want to lose any air. We want to make sure it's all getting delivered. So reverse acting pliers. On here, you'll hear a click, okay, and a click. Now that is in there great. So then you can take your metal tape and you can kind of tighten this up and make sure it's sealed. And we'll show you how to connect from here to your supply tubing. So talking about the restrictor plates, just want to be clear on where they need to be installed. So we're looking at our plenum takeoff. So talking about the restrictor plate at plenum takeoff. Just push right in. Nice. This is only if you're using shorter before, all your runs, supply runs, you want to keep between 9 and 15 feet. It is okay to go shorter. That's where the restrictor plates come into play. And it is okay to go longer, but you just got to realize the loss, okay? So at 15 feet, for every extra 5 feet you add, you're going to lose 10% of the capacity. And the charts are in the IOM, but I want to be clear about that. So rule of thumb that I tell people is for every 2 runs over 20 feet, you need to add another run to that space. So for an example, you got a bedroom, you put 2 supplies in there, they're over 20 feet, you're going to add another supply to that room. And we want to do it ahead of time. You don't want to find out later that you missed the load or you can't cool that room because of those long runs. So again, it's okay to go longer, just got to do the math and make up the difference. Alright, so going back to now we're at the other end of this supply tubing. Okay, again, aluminum core, I'm going to crimp it down. I'm going to tie in my quick connect on this side of it, nice and tight. I'm going to tuck my insulation in here again. Okay. On this one, I prefer to go like this. I'm going to kind of tie it into our patent quick connect, like so. Alright, and then I'm going to add my tape around it. Okay, so I can almost tape both things at once at this point. So I'm going to get around the tubing, and I'm also going to get around that quick connect fitting. Alright, so for example, we're just going to kind of run it around this way as best we can. Sticky stuff right there. We're going to kind of tie it in just like that. Now we're sealed all the way through. So nothing's going to pull out, and no air is going to leak around that quick connect. Okay? Alright, so before you start up a system, my recommendation is after you've drilled all your holes, you might get some metal stuck in the main trunk. You might get the disc that you drilled out stuck in the main trunk. We always have to put an end cap at the end of the plenum to pressurize the system. I would start the system first, at least blow the air without the end cap on and blow all that debris out. Okay, so now you don't have to worry about it getting stuck in the ductwork or coming out of the outlets into the home. So you're better off take the end cap off or don't put it on yet, blow all the debris out. Once that's done, you can put your end cap on the end of this and then just kind of seal up your insulation and you should be good to go.